job today. Good evening, family. Good evening. Your welding coach, Joe Brown, aka Black Phoenix, aka the richest welder, aka Mr. Hog on himself, fam. Appreciate everybody, fam, that been waiting on me. Actually, fam, wanted to talk to you about this because it's something that we've been talking about. We've been discussing as far as the program that I've been working on, the fabrication welding program. Uh, Today I had to make a decision. You know how the old people say in the scriptures, it says that you can't serve two masters. You're going to love one or despise the other. You know what I mean? But today I had to make a decision, and I went and gone and made the decision to let that go so I can fully pursue the program. So it is by no means, no bad blood towards the company. The company actually gave me a second chance, which has actually helped me pay some bills and do some things. So there's no bad blood. Sometimes when you are on certain companies and you move different, sometimes you can rub some feathers from some employees, but it's never normally, especially when they up and coming companies, when they family orientated. Normally, there isn't a lot of drama. You know what I mean? So for those who was thinking I was gonna come with some drama, nah, it's no drama, fam. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where they say it's water under a bridge, but working there has most definitely opened my eyes to so many ideas and so many things that I've been working on with myself. And like I say, it's been a year now, and I came up here right before my son turned 13, and I came up here so I can build this relationship with him. And I was thinking everything was going to be like good, and so I left Georgia and I came up here to, I got uncomfortable, fam. I really did, to get everything established for him. And as I was getting things going in my life, I was like, yeah, everything is falling together. It still didn't happen. So I sacrificed a full year. My son actually turned 14 yesterday. So, happy birthday to him. Um, I did talk to him as far as text him. He's doing good. And our situation has nothing to do with me and him. You know what I mean? So, it's just at that point where, um, as a man, you know what I mean, when you get yourself a little uncomfortable, and I have two more other kids, I kind of put myself in a real tight, stressful environment, you know what I mean, to please someone, fam, and it just didn't work out, fam, you know what I mean. I gave it a year, I gave it my all. I came here, I saw, I conquered, and now I got to move on to establish this program, and honestly, fam, that's where I'm moving on. Today, some events inquired took place that literally made me realize, maybe it's time. You know what I mean? I have nothing bad to say about anyone. Nothing bad to say about the company. You see, I'm representing the brand. Y'all check them out. Like I say, sometimes things happen, fam. One thing for sure is it's very uncomfortable when you have to finally make that decision, but you know what you have to do. The main thing is, how the old folks say, you don't want to close the door till another door is open, and you want to make sure that you have an ideal source of income to replace that, so that way, you'll be okay and things, don't go left field for you. So you just don't want to jump out the ship and quit a job and start something fresh. You got to have a plan, fam. You got to have a plan. You got to sacrifice. You got to have some ownership in your life, so that way, if something go however, you okay. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, fam. Let me make sure I lock all these messages in. I appreciate everybody for checking in, fam. Salute, salute. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for checking in. Like I say, fam, sometimes we have to make the decisions that are very hard, but those are the decisions that forge us into that next level of entrepreneurship. And once you really understand it, you understand that you would rather use your ideas, your concepts, your your energy for yourself. Because one thing I notice about energy, fam, if you point it in the right direction, it's going to produce something. All you have to do is stay consistent. So a lot of times we get discouraged because we just don't know. And now we're in the age where information is grand. Like, it's a lot out here. It's easy to get deceived now. It's easy to get influenced and get the wrong stuff. So you have to be cautious, but you have to also be real with yourself. If you're looking for get rich quick, it probably is not gonna happen. But if you're looking for, hey, I got everything in line, I got the skills, I got this, I just need to know how, all you have to do is take your time and find those who have the reputation. Once you do, you're good, fam. Oh, most definitely, fam. Most definitely. Salute, salute. I'm most definitely on the right path, fam, because this FWP 5 welding program that we are establishing in Little Rock, Arkansas, partnering with the Arkansas Baptist College. We're going to start a welding lab. And the goal is, fam, is to give the person in the community literally hope, fam. If you say you really about change, there's many different ways to educate someone and put them in a position to do better. And if the college is offering GED classes to help people educate and step up, and when the people go there and do the GED classes, some of the students that's walking through there, they don't know if you going getting a degree. You get what I'm saying? So that gives the person a different type of motivation to want to achieve something higher. And then you find out once you get the GED that they got trade programs, and the first one is welding. You get there, get to making some money, putting something, you feeding yourself, and then you say, you know what, I want to get a degree, and I want to step this education that I got up in the welding and become an engineer or whatever you're trying to do, and go off from there. But we have to start from somewhere, and sometimes it just takes that true cycle, that Booker T. Washington cycle. Not only did he believe in higher education and have a college, but he believed in trades, fam. He knew that that's what builds America. He knew that we had to have everything. We had to have it all. And right now, fam, I just feel like we're behind. I feel like the pipeline that America has right now, we're getting our young adults from high school into careers, it's broken. You know what I mean? It's broken, and even a lot of the kids know it. Like, it's broken, and I'm not interested in fixing it. We all know as fabricators and welders, no one want to fix no one else's mess, man. When it's messed up, you're like, man, I don't want to go over there and do all that grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to do that, fam. You know what I mean? So, I would rather create a whole new thing. You know what I mean? That way, I'm not trying to patch up holes and stuff go wrong. I want to create something different. And with this fabrication welding program, family, it's completely different. And what makes it so different is I'm using from 6 weeks up to 16 weeks, depending on what we're teaching. Now, we're going to have the 16 weeks is going to be put inside of a semester as a lab class. The 6 weeks or six weeks or 7 or 8 weeks we might have, it's going to be for a specific company. So say if a company in there say, hey, we're hiring flux core welders, we need uphill, overhead, horizontal, we need them to read basic prints, we need them to be able to operate the basic crane systems. We want to be able to teach a person that and say, hey, if they can get this, we'll start them out as this, that, and so forth. That's what we want to do. We want to get this company SOP, WPS, and teach it directly in that 6 to 16 weeks to these students. And that way they know where they're going when they start, fam. A lot of times students get to the end of class. I have seen so many students get to the end of class and be like, man, I'm looking for a job now. I'm like, man, to me, if you're looking at the end, you're waiting too late. It's too late. Because then you're going to have to, if it take too long, you're going to get discouraged, and then sometimes you have to go back and get a refresher because you got to warm up some. You know what I mean? You want to go in hot, fam. That way you can just keep and you can master the trade and this muscle memory. You know what I mean? And that's what I want to do with this program. Create a simple step, hands-on, where we can literally show them how to do this process. The instructor will be hands-on, like literally showing them hands-on how to do it before we let them go. Just like teaching a kid how to ride a bike, fam. Now, I'm a father. For those who are fathers in here, no one taught they baby how to ride a bike and say, all right, you go over there, you just yelling out instructions. Hey, get on there, hold this thing up. Hey, why you falling? You need to do something. We don't do that. You gonna help them hold the steering wheel a little bit. You gonna ride it for them. You might glide it with them a little bit so they can get a feel. Once you see they get a feel, you let them go, fam. You let them go. They might fall, but they'll get back up and say, okay, I think I got it now. Then they gonna go, and next thing you know, they gonna be hitting blocks, and you gonna be sitting in the chair, telling them to slow down. Hey, stop out. You moving too fast. We have fun with it, fam. And I think that's what's gonna make my program so organic and so real and so powerful, because we're gonna do that. We're gonna be hands-on. We're gonna show them how to do it, and we're gonna get those who want it. We're not going to look for someone who we think and we know that need to change, but they don't want to put forth the work ethics. These companies don't want that. So why are we going to give them that, fam? No. So we're going to make sure these people that we get in this program got care that they want to change, and we want to help them. If you want to win, we'll sit in the trenches with you till you win, fam. But I can't help someone that don't want to help themselves. Period. So it will be an orientation, but the goal is to have the students sign a 6-month contract to work with the company. But majority of people, once you're gonna stay a year or plus, especially if you want to become a journeyman, and if the company is paying for your sponsoring your program, then normally you're gonna stay there, fam, and you're gonna be making from these companies that we're networking with. It seems like from 40 to 60K a year plus, some 70. Depends on, everybody get it different. Some people catch on faster than others. Some people get blueprints. Some people get cab drawings fast. Some people get get layout. Some people just like the whale. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? But whatever it is you want to do, we want to make sure a person is great, and we want to use that hands-on, loving approach. And I say that because they have already did. I'm big on studies and facts too, fam. They did a study with kids, and they had about 10 kids or 20 kids in one room, and about 10 or 20 in the other. And these are newborn babies. And in one room, they fed the babies and just changed them and gave them their necessities. That's it. Just changed them, gave them the necessities, made sure they was clean, they was fed, they was good. And that's it. They didn't do no engagement with them. And this side, they engaged on the right side. They played with them. They talked to them. Kissed their feet, goo goo gaga, all this stuff. Read with them, played with them, all this stuff. The kids on the right side came out smarter, 100% smarter. The kids on the left side, some of them end up developing the Down syndrome that didn't even have it. So all I'm saying is, fam, is facts. Facts. Kids know, people know when you really love them, fam, when you really want to see them win, when you really care about them. And that's all we want to install into it. Some real feelings. These are real people. These ain't no numbers on the computer. These ain't just some emails. You get what I'm saying? Like, these some real people, and we want to show real love. And that's why I feel like my program is going to go to the next level, because we're going to give that same approach with the same information, teaching the WPS and SOPs from the companies, being hands-on with the right equipment, giving them what they need. It's going to be a win-win, fam. It's going to be a win-win. And like I say, our goal is to help the area. And the Little Rock area is big on manufacturing. So we're going to target flux core welding and MIG welding, because they're doing a lot of fabrication and a lot of heavy steel fabrication. So that's what we're going to target first. And then we can implement other programs. But we got to get started, fam. People can knock it out however you want to, but they are using a lot of wire, building a lot of things right now that is qualifying. A lot of bridges, a lot of dams, a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Salute. Yes, I understand that, fam. They do try to force the military on the babies a lot, fam. And I'm not knocking it, but my grandfather went to the military. He went to World War II, and he never promoted it to me, fam. Not once. Not once, never. You know what my grandfather promoted to me? Independence. He taught me my first trade, which was cutting hair. And he had me cutting his hair because he was a barber. So he let me play on his head and get it to I was actually starting to cut hair. I walked around with a bag. I was making $5. I got up to like probably $10 before I stopped cutting hair. You know what I mean? And then when I got locked up, I was cutting here and there. And then I had one of my guys from Memphis, Tennessee, from South Memphis. I taught him how to cut hair, and he took off with the trade. So you see how the trade is valuable, fam. You know, the other information is great, but learning the trade, cause just think a lot of the stuff that we need, we call what? Tradesmen. HVAC, welders, plumbers, electrician, carpenters, we call them tradesmen. You know what I'm saying? Truck, hey, we need something moved. Something broke down. We need somebody to come pick something up. You see what I'm saying? Somebody that know how to do something. So you can say, oh, I'm making more money if I just go to McDonald's or UPS. But you're going to have to spend all that money to somebody come fix something. So at least learn the trade too, fam. You know what I mean? At least learn the trade too. Don't knock it, fam. Don't knock it till you try it, fam. Salute, salute. I appreciate it, fam. And yes, sir, that's the vision, fam, is to be hands-on. Because it has been documented that the hands-on process work from Harvard studies is very important. That, see, one thing I learned about it, if you space it out, see, college, I'm not knocking college. I think college is very important, depends on what you're going to college for. But the reality of it, I think is overrated. You know what I mean? Just to be real. But it is needed to go to college for certain things, you know, so hands down. But a lot of things, fam, the trades are being shadowed over, or they're being stretched out to make it seem like it takes so long. It don't take that long. They stretch it out like that so that way, you know, they could form curriculums and make you go through different, you know, oh, this is a 2-year course when you could actually get the course in 6 months. And they take it 2 years to get it. Come on, man. Like, people want to get straight to it. This is 2025. This generation want to get straight to it. They ain't got no time to waste time. Everybody seems like they're trying to get somewhere. You see what I'm saying? That we don't want to waste time when I know you're going to learn on the job. We get so caught up in saying, I want to get certified. I'm going to get some certifications. I'm going to get a piece of paper. But then you don't get a job. You know how many people I know got pieces of paper and ain't got no job? Because they certified, they wasn't qualified. You want to get qualified, fam. Qualified. You know what I mean? I heard a guy say that and I never forgot. Like, it has stuck to me. I'm taking that to my grave. You know what I mean? You need to be qualified, not certified, fam. And that's what people get caught up at. They want that paper. There's nothing wrong with it, fam, but ain't nobody going to ask for it but your loved ones. You know, when you get hired, I'm going to tell you something about getting hired straight into companies. No companies ain't messed up about the paperwork. You know what they want? They want to know that you took a test. It was visually taken. And normally they're going to take you one then. When you go there, you're going to take another one. That's why I tell you, you got to be repetitious. You're going to take another one there so they can see it. And then they're going to, you know, let it be what it is. So if you can do what you say you can do, they're going to say, show me, like it's Missouri. Show me, man. Let me see. You know, and so that's what it's about, fam. And welding is muscle memory. And if you already good with numbers, blueprints and sharp drawings will be easy. And just getting familiar with the tape measure, learning how to read it from a 16th to an inch. I would recommend everybody just, you know, if you don't know how to read one, just start off from a 16th to an inch. If you can do that, you can do 30 feet. You know what I'm saying? You can start fabricating, fam. But you have to get started. Get a cheap tape measure if you need one. It's okay. Ain't nobody mad. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Salute, salute. Thanks for checking in, fam. You know what I mean? So, you know, like I say, the main thing, fam, I believe, honestly, that we have to not put the trades in the box where there's only one way to do it. You know what I mean? Today, in my personal opinion, marks the day that I had to make a stand for my independence. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not seeing my baby. But what I'm about to build and what I'm building and doing, he's going to experience this, and his kids is going to experience this, and my other grandkids is going to experience this, and my kids. So I'm doing something now that I'm knowing that's the purpose for it, to outlive me. That's the purpose. You know what I mean? But sometimes, fam, we can be in environments where we can't grow. Like, you can show all your potential. You can email your thoughts. You can do everything you can to try to come up. In some places you can't. Like, it's like it's written that you just can't grow in certain environments. Like, it got a top. And then you get tired when they remove the top. You ain't even jumping no more that high. You just stop jumping. You barely moving. That's how they do us, fam. You know what I mean? So I want to remove the top, fam, and I want these kids to jump as high as they can. And yes, the program does going to have an age limit on it. We haven't said exactly as of now, but you know that I am focusing on, you know, the youth coming out of high school, pretty much 17 through 24. We really, really want to catch that age because from the age of 12 through 24, statistically, a black or brown child will be dead, addicted to a harmful drug, or in prison for his lifetime, fam. And I believe, fam, if we can catch them and give them something else, show them something else is possible, show them different ways they can use it without us being selfish and saying, oh, you know, you got to do it this way. Oh, you just got, hey, fam, I'm going to show you this way. You can do it that way. If it works, do it. The goal is to get the 10, fam. We're trying to get the 10. I'm not going to knock how you get there as long as you get there. And that's where I feel like this fabrication welding program is going to really help because we're going to help people get from 1 to 10, fam. We're going to help companies literally get the people they need because I know I be out here. I see some of these people, they're not showing up. I have many people tell me, oh man, I want to be a what, I want to do this. They won't even show up. So what are they going to do to the job? If you can't show up to class, you think you're going to change those bad work ethics when it's time to go to work the next day? It ain't going to happen, fam. We ain't going to recommend you. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is, fam. You know, we want you to be held accountable for your work ethics. And we swear if you use the tools that we're giving you, you're going to win. You use them, we're going to be there here with you. You show up, we showing up, you put it in the work, we're going to put it in the work, and it's going to work out, fam. That's what companies want. Companies want people that want to grow within the companies. You know, they tired of getting someone and doing all this hiring on, and then they got the people leaving, you know, so it's a whole different environment. The whole culture is changing within the companies, you know, where they are even getting training for a lot of the foremans and people that's over people that get positions that literally shouldn't be over people, fam. It'd be a lot of the foremans and a lot of these floor managers and bosses that be running people off. You got great ones and you got terrible ones, and I have met some terrible ones. You know what I mean? That just run people off. Like, man, nobody want to be around them. You know what I'm saying? He treat everybody like they dirt on the ground. You know what I mean? And so we have to change that culture too. And I see that that is shifting inside of a lot of bigger companies. In small areas, they getting it, but you know, a lot of people are still kind of old fashioned. It is what it is. It's 2025, but it's still old fashioned towns. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Yeah, a lot of times they don't, fam. You're all right. A lot of times they don't. But it all depends on what it is, fam. Like, you know, they want to see a feature in it. They want to see a way they can finesse it after they mess with it. They want to see a way they can grow from it. Why I just got to stay in the box with it? Can I start a business with it? Can I, you know, eventually get some money to invest in something to do this with it? You know what I mean? And you can. Why tell them you can't? Because you can. You know what I mean? I think they most definitely can. Salute, salute, fam. You know it is what it is, fam. You know, I think it's just real, fam. I think that we shouldn't shadow anything from them. Like shadow no information. A lot of times, fam, we have to start looking ahead of time. I told a student one time, he asked me at a good time. We was about midway in class. And he asked me, he said, man, when should I start looking for a job? And I looked at the date and I said, what time is it? He said, it's I think it was 3 something. I said, what time we get done with class? He said, 4, you know, we normally, you know, leave right before, you know, about 4:45. I said, well, you need to be start looking about 4:45. We got a class. You start now. Start looking in the area. A lot of times we just don't do no. We don't put a lot of. We don't put enough hustle on it. Like if you know you want to weld, I don't know where you at. Look in the area you are in a nice circumference on how far you are willing to go, and see where the best numbers at. See where they got the best benefits at. And then go that way. Or say, hey, what they paying over here, this is what I want to learn. You know what I'm saying? I want to learn steel and aluminum. You know, I want to do this, or I want to learn pipe. This is where the money at. I'm young. Let me get this pipe. I like to travel. This is what I want to do. Hey man, I like the structural, fam. I want to work on these bridges. I want to work on these multi-story buildings. I want to travel and do that. Fam, you have to do some homework first. That's it. Okay, salute, salute. Get all you can, fam. I mean, you know, it's a good thing, fam. You know, as long as a person wanting to learn, fam, I'm always willing to give it to them. And there's so many people that be hungry. And I'm gonna tell you another thing too, fam. I made a post, a statement that said, the truth of the matter is, you're no longer a worker. You know, sometimes we outgrow spaces, fam, where I've literally been around people that I don't think like them no more. You know what I mean? Like that space ain't my space no more. You know what I mean? I enjoy it at that season, but sometimes you can be around people that can make what you do suffocating. That can make what you do where you don't even want to do it no more. You know what I'm saying? You be like, nah, you know what I mean? And I have learned, fam, that we outgrow our crowns and we have to do something different, you know? And there's a season with it, you know what I mean? And if you grow correctly with your season, fam, you'll blossom, you'll reach that next stage. And, you know, me being how I am, you know what I'm saying? I'm very bold and right in your face with it, you know what I mean? Um, I can make some people uncomfortable, especially some employees if I'm working there because of how I move. I can make some people feel uncomfortable. So, you know, I get it. You know what I mean? That space is no longer for me. You know what I mean? That space is no longer for me. But I love networking. I love creating. But that space is no longer for me. So, you know, the door is to create opportunities, and by creating systems, fam, it's not like creating a job. I'm not creating a job for myself, fam. I'm creating a system that can be moving and operating when I step over here and do something else. This system is still gonna be operating, fam. That's what I had to figure out. Like, as a person who had to learn entrepreneurship the hard way, like we try to have so many hats on, we try to do all these things and have all these shirts, and we realize, fam, that if something happened to you, how you're operating stops. So you have to find a way where how you need to live is still operating without you having to do it. You know, there's always, you know, they say if a man don't work, he don't eat. There's always something you need to be working on. That's something you need to be doing, but should be what you want to do with your time. You see what I'm saying? So we have to learn how to allow our money to make money. And I know it's hard because a lot of times, sometimes, you know, people have habits and we have different things that we're going through. And hey, man, we all reach hard times. But if you would save and just learn how to endure, like, fam, man, just give us some things. Like, a lot of times I have seen people with great visions stay on places that don't allow them to grow, and they smother these great ideas because of a paycheck, fam. And when it's more valuable, you just have to figure out a way. That's why I say don't jump out the plane without a parachute, fam. You hear what I'm saying? Don't jump out without a parachute. Start making some proper plays. Start doing some things where you can see some ways you're replacing your income. So that way you can focus on your dreams and visions, but you really have to do research, fam. And you have to be humble enough as if an ideal ain't working to chop it up and throw it away, fam. I've did it. Like if it's not working, don't be a fool and keep throwing the energy when you steady wasting money. Money and energy. I did both, you know what I mean? And that's why I like to share my wisdom because I have been there, fam. Like the things that I'm going through now, it's only going to be documented so that way it can be recorded that it happened. See, fam, it's a saying that if it's not documented, it never happened. I just documented that statement because I wanted to be known that that happened, fam. You see what I'm saying? That I had to walk off. It wasn't a bad thing. I'm not bashing no one. I'm not finna, this and this and this. I'm not doing that because to me, when an issue is dead or if sometimes things happen in the moment. And if that happened in that moment, that happened in that moment. But if you can leave and breathe and you sit back and look at that moment and you get to looking at it, you be like, you know what? I ain't giving that moment no more energy. You know what I mean? Salute, salute. Salute, man. I appreciate you for checking in. That's just how I feel, fam, I just feel that we have to think outside of the box, fam. Okay. You just keep your options open, fam. We just have to keep our options open. You know, a lot of times, fam, I have learned that we live above our means, you know, and one thing about welding, fam, you can make great money. And if you don't save and invest, not just save, because if you save money, fam, money grow wings and do what? Fly away. Or do what? Mold and lose value. Taxes go up, the money value go down. So you have to find a way. I just gave you some game right there. You have to find a way to let your money make money for you. Through business, through investments, through real estate. You have to find a way, fam, to make it work for you, fam. There's many ways. Many ways. You have to find the right way. You got to realize it's literally a game, fam. It's a game. And you just have to learn how to play it, fam, when it comes to finances. So that way you can put them where they need to be and you can use the portion that you need to fund what you want to do, like really help and really live your passion. And a lot of times as entrepreneurs, what we try to do, we try to start businesses from our passion first. And it don't work because you got to throw so much money into the passion. You got to actually create something. Create something you can actually get some leads on, some sales on. A business is not a business if it doesn't have sales. I'm going to say that one more time, fam. Your business isn't a business if it doesn't have sales. So we have to learn how to get the sales. Money isn't evil, fam. They say the love of it is. It ain't evil. We have to learn how to sell. You ain't got to like it. You just got to learn it, fam. You got to learn selling, fam. I'm gonna just keep it real. If we're gonna be better, do better with our money, we have to learn something new. And if it was a new skill on top of a trade, you should learn. Learn how to sell. Learn how to sell. That's be the first skill I would say. There's a lot of things I could say, marketing, branding, all of this. But if you want to get ahead, learn how to sell. Salute, fam. Thanks for checking in. Gotta keep pushing, fam. Sales the fuel of the business. What you said. Fam, you gonna get it. That's what I'm saying, fam. I have been on every side, fam. I got videos doing everything. And fam, I've learned that you have to learn how to use this muscle, fam. We so used to using this. You hear me? We got to learn how to use this muscle here, fam. And we got to learn how to use this muscle to get that paper, fam, and make it multiply. You get what I'm saying? Because we all have different passions and aspirations to do different things. Or you just want to chill and go on the beach, man, and do that. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that neither. I ain't knocking it. But I just feel like we have to find our thing, fam. Especially as we get in different stages of our life. When you young, grind. 20s, 30s, grind. When you in your 40s, you start hitting that 40, you need to start considering an exit plan, fam. You know what I mean? Because the body is not getting younger. You can get stronger, you can work hard all you want to, but it's not the same, fam. Let's just be real. So you have to figure out something different. You say, okay. And I said it myself. I said, you know what? I gave myself to 45. I said, you know, I'm gonna turn 45. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this here. I'm gonna do this. I already gave myself. I said it was my last year doing it anyway. So I'm gonna give myself 45, and that way I can use that money to do this here. And then I already set some other things in motion. You know what I mean? So salute. I have had a few people been reaching out, checking out the ebook, man. I really do appreciate it. It is live. It is on Grim Road. We'll have the link inside of this video, fam. The links are up. Just dropped the new one. I actually been waiting on it so I can drop it. And fam, I've been really busy putting some stuff together. And I've been doing it so I can drop it on different stages. And actually today was my last day working for the company, and I dropped a new ebook to teach you some side hustles and how to use this wealth while you still got your job. And it's saying in the ebook, don't quit your job, create this so you can make an exit plan, fam. You know what I mean? So the ebook drops today, and I appreciate for those who want to check it out and support it, man. All I say, fam, it takes money to make money. It takes money to make money. This ebook is an investment. Fam, I done made many investments, $150, $500, $1,000, $3,500. I done did some investments, fam, and some of them I used to think like, man, what I get out of it? And I had made some investments, fam, that was some of the best investments I could have made. And some of them was costly and some of them wasn't. But it got to cost you something. Sometimes it's not a lot of money, but it costs you some time and some discipline. It costs you some focus. So, you know, the things you get for free, fam, you never value. So even when you're watching the video, and I salute and appreciate everybody from watching the video, you have to pay attention. You have to watch it to get the information. You see what I'm saying? So when you think about it, fam, the stuff you have to pay something for, you value. You know what I mean? So if you're paying time, if you pay using discipline, if it's work ethics, you know what I mean, you value it more. And then, you know, like my OG used to say, a bought lesson is the best lesson. It's the best blessing. He said a bought lesson is the best blessing. Cause fam, if you had to pay for it, you gonna remember. You gonna learn. You like, hey, I ain't doing that no more. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the OGs out there. I know, fam. Shout out to XL Flow, and I know, fam. So what you're doing, like, it's even physical. Just like what it's physical, fam. Like, you know, we enjoy what we're doing, but we have to learn how to get a crew. If you still want to do it, get you a crew where you can train them. And sometimes, fam, you know, you be like, man, you get the people, but fam, we can find good people. It's easy to find. I have put out ads. I have, you know, sometimes you just can't go for people that you know need the help. See, that's where we go. We want to help the people that we know need the help, but they really don't want to do the work. Nah, we got to get the people that want to do the work. You feel me, fam? Salute. Hog on, thanks for checking in from Florida. Fam, I ain't made it out there. California checking in. Y'all make sure y'all let me know Watch checking in, fam. Thanks for checking in. Much love and respect, fam. Y'all let me know what city, what state y'all in. Fam, I appreciate everybody that been getting their hog on with me, fam. And hey, we just getting started, fam. We just getting started. We just getting started, fam. So the goal is to get this fabrication welding program up and going in Little Rock, and then establish this program in other cities that need it. You know, it might be something that I might establish with somebody that's watching tonight in their city. You know what I mean? So the goal is once we can get the program, we can implement it, it works, we can get the money. That's nothing. You just got to make sure it works, fam. Do it work. Will people listen? Will people come? They say you build it, they'll come. You know, if if they believe in it and they have seen the change and they got the testimonies, fam, they gonna come. We just have to believe in ourselves. Sometimes, fam, we can. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Sometimes, fam, we just got to really believe in ourselves. South Carolina checking in. Mobile checking in. Man, I did know a sister that was like in up north, Sacktown, I believe. I forgot what her name was, but she was welding up there. I can't think. Designer Welder or something like that on Instagram. I think it's Designer Welder or something. But I think she's up there in Sacktown. So there's a couple, you know, African American welders out there, fam. Checking in, Chicago. Salute, salute. Thanks for checking in. Fam, it was time to transition and start the FWP program. That's what happened, fam. Nothing bad. Nothing bad. You know, situations happen, fam, where you outgrow a situation. And, you know, nothing bad at all. Just time to move on, fam. It's time to move on. And you know how the old folks say, you can't serve two masters, fam, when you really think about it. You know, you're going to love one and despise the other. You know what I mean? Yep. I most definitely have seen that. And I've seen a lot of them stuck in the shipyard mindset or pipe welder stuck in that mindset. We have to think outside the box, fam. We have to think outside the box, fam. Salute, salute. Thanks for checking in. What city, what state you in, fam? Let us know, fam. Like I say, today, you know, is a day of new beginnings, fam. You know, nothing bad. I actually just used the title, fam, as a hook. It's just something, you know, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to say this. You know what I mean? But today was my last day. And, you know, life happens, fam. Life happens. And like I say, the company did give me a second chance after I went through the welding instructor situation, trying to get there and stuff went left field. And so you have to pay homage where homage is due. You know, stuff happens for a reason, fam. You know what I mean? Me throwing bad blood or giving someone a black eye is not going to go nowhere. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm not interested in that at all. I'm not interested in giving that type of energy out. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? Oh, salute, salute. Thanks for checking in, Fourth Wayne. No, 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 fam. Been there, done that, got that t-shirt too. You know what I'm saying? Been there, done that, and started, got that t-shirt too, fam. So I'm more interested, fam, in building programs. I'm creating some systems right now. I got a few books out right now, a few ebooks out right now, some products, some things that I'm working on, fam, that can really help the community. You know what I mean? And also pay me as well. And I'm not trying to get paid off the community. There's companies, there's big corporations that got great budgets that need programs and systems that work. And if you got something that works, fam, it works. You know what I mean? So you just have to believe in it, document it properly, and put it out there. Make it happen. Sometimes, fam, the best thing to do is to get started. Once a person see you getting started, listen, do something impossible. See somebody just say, my car stopped. They know they're on the hill. Just put it in park and act like you're pushing it up a hill. You just out there by yourself. Ugh. And people drive by. Somebody gonna say, this damn fool. They gonna slow up. Hey, what's wrong with this fool? Let me go out here and help him. Ain't no way he gonna get up there. But they see you trying it. They want to become a part of their adventure too. Say, well, let us try to get him up the hill. Because he trying to get up the hill. Fam, you can get some help when you actually trying. Just think if you broke down, you're just sitting in the car. Get out there and try to do something. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Do something impossible, though. You know what I mean? I heard a guy tell me that. Do something impossible and people are getting involved. You know what I mean? Yes, you got to take the initiative, fam. What you said. You got to take the initiative. Listen, ain't nowhere around it. Ain't nowhere around it, fam. So I just want to say, for those who get the opportunity, I believe I posted the link inside of my community where you can see the cover of the new ebook. But check it out, fam. You know what I mean? Like it for those who really trying to increase the side hustle. Get some ideas, fam. Information change your situation. Information. So don't allow a hurdle of like something $27 to keep you from going where you need to go. Because I'm going to give you, I told a guy one time, I said, fam, I'm giving you something that I wish I had. And he said, what is that, coach? Me. I'm giving you me, fam. I'm keeping it real with you. I'm going to give you the truth. I'm going to show you how you can get through the little areas because you can. Trump said, don't get mad at me that I'm using the loopholes that's designed by the system, and smiled and walked off. He still ain't showed you his tax return. They ain't got to. You get what I'm saying? So the thing is, fam, you got to learn them. They out here. You have to learn how to move, fam. You trying to shoot straight in a crooked system. It ain't gonna go nowhere, fam. You got to learn that you got to move and duck and jump and all type of stuff, fam. It ain't no straight road to success, fam. Nah. It ain't no straight road to it. I most definitely, fam, any type of assistance will be great, fam. I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas. That's where I'm kicking the program off. So any type of assistance, any type of love, fam, y'all most definitely welcome and open to be a part of this project. We're going to be putting up things on the wall. We're going to be doing paintings. We're going to be actually creating a kind of like a life tree of something of metal that we can be able to, for those who are donating and doing things, we can have something up there that'll forever be there for those who help. Whatever, if someone help, they help. You know what I mean? But we got the funding, but people want to be a part, and we want to make sure that we have something out there saying that this person help a part of this program. So for those who want to be a part of it, fam, you can be a part of it. $1, $100, come down, help us build, clean, whatever. You know what I mean? It's whatever. We're not tripping, but we're going to make it happen, though. You know what I mean? Salute. Yep. So, fam, man, I appreciate everybody for checking in. Like I say, tonight it wasn't about being messy. Some people probably thought, oh, you're gonna be messy. No, I ain't nothing about none of that. It was about transcending, fam. It was about waking up and realizing, something dawns on you when you can literally sit back and see something that you created, that you see in rotation, that you see being used, that you see being able to make a profit as it's being used, and you're not being able to receive anything from it, and you feel like, dang, if I can literally sit here and watch a system I created for someone work in my face, see it make money, and I created the whole idea, the process, the whole everything, why Why can't I do it for myself? Tell me why. Tell me why, fam. When you didn't literally understood everything. When you understood marketing now. When you understand paid advertisement. When you understand a budget. When you understand websites. How powerful it is. Like when you understand that, it's a formula. Fam, it's a formula. And once you can see the formula, fam, it's like once you know better, fam, you got to do better, fam. You know what I mean? For sure, fam. Most definitely, fam. Doors gonna open, fam. Doors gonna open, fam. But sometimes you have to be humble and you have to see something take place and you have to watch it and recognize it for what it is and be humble and say, I created something that is going to outlive me. The idea, how the concept, and it's always going to be making money. But I'm not benefiting. Now, if I could do that for someone else, surely I can use the same energy and do it for myself. I just figured that, fam. I figured I could do it for myself, fam. You know, I figured I don't, I just have to put my money where my mouth is. I might have to, lose a couple pounds. But hey, you can make it happen, fam. But the game is learning the formula, learning the strategy. Like I say, not diving out the window until you know you got a parachute, fam. You can't be foolish with it, even though sometimes things happen. Things happen now. Sometimes things happen, but if you move right and you get yourself, you focus, you be okay, fam. Yeah, fam. Once you know better, fam, you gotta do better, and that's what I just recognized, fam. You know, seeing it for what it is, fam, and certain feelings that you receive are real. When you feel certain things from people, fam, you know when it's love, you know when it's hate, you know when it's envy, you know when it's, you know, hatred or bad vibe, you know what I mean? And when you see that as an individual, you have to know what to do. And sometimes, like I say, it be time to move on. You know, there's an old scripture that says, when I thought like a child, I behaved like a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. So, we do things in certain seasons. And we do things in moments too. Like people can provoke you, fam, and that's another thing that blows my mind, how a person can provoke you and then expect you not to respond how you want to respond from how they made you feel. You have the right. You can't control how I feel about what you did to me. You can't control how I take it when you did something to violate me, to disrespect me. Just like if I did something, I can't tell her, hey, I did this. You can't feel that way. That's not right. You know what I mean? So if she responds a certain way, it might be, man, you ain't got to do it all like that, but that's how that made her feel or him feel. I get it. You know what I'm saying? You can't trigger someone and then control the outcome, fam. You can't trigger someone and then control the outcome. So, and I just learned that in therapy. And that's one thing. I was talking to someone. I didn't start going to therapy to my 40s, fam, early 40s, and I wish I would have started, oh man, in my 20s, as soon as I got out of prison. I should have started as soon as I got out of prison. For real. Hey, that's how it works, fam. The universe do that, fam. I mean, and you can't control how it come back. They say we reap what we sow. And it's not always how it is given. But it's gonna come back. It's not always how you give it, but it's gonna come back, fam. We read what we sow, fam. So, and I know that. So that's why I say tonight wasn't about um, bashing, belittling. It was about, tonight is about encouragement, fam. It's not about exposing the company. It's about exposing my purpose to my people. You know what I mean? Of a company, FWP that I'm creating. Like, that's what it's about. The brand, Your Welding Coach LLC. Like, that's what it's about, fam. I'm exposing what I'm doing. I'm not trying to waste time doing that. Exposing someone else. It is what it is. Over time things happen. You know what they say? The sun shines on the situation all the time. So I'm not gonna waste time on it. You know what I mean? I count my blessings, fam. I move on. Salute, salute, fam. What you said, fam. I appreciate everybody for checking in with me though tonight. Like I say, normally I don't go live. I do want to start. I am working on a couple ideas where I can start going live on a couple different days on different topics though. So I will be presenting. I'm gonna have a poll up probably maybe tomorrow or next couple days on coming up with some live events, some things we can talk about, some information, what I'm doing, us having some open discussions about some things that I think that can be good in the community. Salute, fam. What you said. What you said. I appreciate it, fam. That's the goal, fam. I just try to keep it real. Like, I'm not gonna. I understand. I have been on both sides, and I stand for the truth, fam. I don't care what color it is. I don't care what country it's in. If it's the truth, it's the truth. And if I'm wrong, fam, I don't have no reason, no way of saying, hey, I'm wrong for that. If I'm wrong for saying, if I'm wrong for telling someone that cuss me out, that threaten me, if I'm wrong for saying, hey man, if you got an attitude, if it's that serious, we can go around the back and get this out the way and go back to work. If I'm wrong for saying that, then hey man, I'm wrong. Hey fam, you know what I mean? Like, fam, you know what? Being in construction, I have learned something, fam. I have got so many fights on job sites that I had to go right back to work. You know what I mean? And I remember a few of them, the foreman would be like, hey, whoever don't come back, that's who ain't got no job. The man said, whoever don't come back, that's who ain't got no job, fam. I just done been through it all, fam. Salute, salute, fam. Thanks for checking in. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just being real, fam. Like, life is life, fam. But I'm not going to waste energy on nothing. But I never been a coward, though. I don't mind looking someone dead in their eyes and telling them they're a liar, or they are racist, or they are they're a hater. Whatever it is, you're loving. You can't. I'm gonna give it to you if it's bad or good. I don't mind. No problem with looking you straight in your eyes and telling you how I feel. I don't have no problem with it. So if you come to me with some bad energy, I don't have no problem with rebuking it. You know what I'm saying? As the old folks say, rebuke that energy, fam. I ain't got no problem with it, fam. You know what I mean? So, if a person is real, I'm going to be real. But, we can't act like certain things don't exist. Come on now. We see it all the time, fam. And I'm going to tell you something else. We can't act like it's not real out here right now. People are really going through some things right now, fam. So we have to count our blessings. And sometimes we think we doing bad and we peek in the door, fam, and about scared you. You better hurry up and close that door, fam. I've been seeing some stuff the last few days that I'm alright, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm alright. You know what I mean? I'm going to be okay. You know what I mean? But sometimes we have to look at situations from the outside so that we won't feel get the feeling down or depressed about our situation, man. We're always gonna go through something, fam. Everybody go through something. No matter what city, state, country you in, we all going through something, but it's all on how you take it in. So if I could give anybody any advice tonight, I would say, hey, do what you have to do. If you got to use the job to get above, keep your head down, do what you got to do. But one thing, advice I wouldn't do, if you know you got to be there for a minute to do something, don't rub the feathers of the employees. Don't share any of your ideas with none of the employees. Don't share with the keep them, because people will despise you for coming up with an idea. They don't want you around, because then they got to say you came up with that idea. So just be quiet, do your job, be good at your job. Write down your ideas, save your money, invest in your ideas, fam. Y'all be blessed, continue to prosper. I'm out. Hold on.